page and the Literacy Live 10. Very pleased to have Hazel Clarke with us today, a 22-year-old author who's come all the way down from sunny Preston, join us on the South Coast with her family, and her publisher, Claire Napoli of the Publishing in Print Salad Pages. Welcome, thank you very much for coming down to the hot South Coast. Congratulations on your first novel. Just hold it up for everyone to see. Nightmare Scenarios. A futuristic exploration of mental health and technology. The hero is an 18-year-old, Grace. Do you want to tell us a bit about the book, just starting off?
Okay, so Gracie is just about to start university, but every single night these three voices come and they make her play this horrible game called the Nightmare Scenario, and if she doesn't do as what they tell her to, they basically will hurt her or get her to hurt someone else. But just after she starts university, another voice appears, and this one's called Kai, and she starts to fall in love with him. And there's other things going on in the book, like androids and levitating trains. It's set in 2047. So there's a lot going on, but the main story is about the voices and the nightmare scenarios.
Did you say levitating trains? Just checking. 2047, right, okay, wow. So when most of us think of hearing voices in our head, it sounds completely terrifying. But actually you flip the situation in your book slightly, because actually she's quite sympathetic to one of the voices she finds and finds a certain kind of solace and kindness there. Why did you decide to do that, and can you just tell us a bit more about it?
So I have psychosis myself, which if you don't know is hearing voices, and it is pretty scary to be honest, but a lot of people still don't talk about it, so I feel that mental health in England over the past few years has become less and less taboo to talk about. Like if you have depression or anxiety, I think it's kind of okay now, but with something like psychosis or schizophrenia, it's still a lot harder to think about. So one thing I wanted to do with my book was to try and show that it's okay to have it, it's okay to talk about, essentially.
And actually, I think when we spoke before, you said that actually I said to you, how had you coped with it? And you said you had actually tried to look at the voices that you were hearing more sympathetically and actually try and befriend them. Tell us a bit more about that.
So I started hearing voices halfway through my final A-level exam. So I was 17. I was 17 and I was sat in the gym at my college, and I think I was doing a theoretical drama exam, and halfway through I heard them, and obviously like no one else heard them. It was dead quiet because it's an exam, so it was really scary. And at first they were just like making noises and saying words, and I think it was all because of all the stress of the exams. I had about 4 exams, but I had to like learn quotes from like 3 different novels for them. We weren't allowed to take the books in, so I got really stressed. But even though after I finished college, obviously I was going to university, and the thought of that was stressing me out. So it gradually got worse to the point where they were like 3 fully fledged like different voices, and it was really scary. But the way I dealt with it, which is probably not the way you should deal with it though, was to kind of try and become friends with them in a way, I guess.
Did that help the voices, or did it help you feel calmer, or did they get louder, did they get quieter?
I think it made them in a way more prominent, but made me feel less scared about it though.
Yeah.
I guess they have got worse, but not worse in a bad way. So I guess more prominent would be the better word for it.
Yeah.
Has writing the book helped you understand the psychosis that obviously you're going through, you've been diagnosed with, and that whole experience of living with voices, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. So I started hearing voices when I was 17, and then I wrote this when I was 19, so that was 2 years later. And I didn't like to talk about it very much. I spoke to my mum about it and a couple of my friends, but I was kind of scared to tell a lot of people in case it did have a negative effect. At high school, I was fairly okay in high school mental health wise, but some of my friends weren't, and when they told someone like, oh, I have depression, or they felt suicidal, they would get laughed at and bullied. So I didn't always have like a great first impression about it. But I guess writing it kind of helps me like come to terms with it in a way, if that makes sense.
And you said, mental health is, people are much more open to having these conversations now, and there's lots of help available, and people aren't so afraid of the reaction they'll get if they'll start a conversation. Are you hoping that that will spread through the writing community and that people won't be afraid to kind of have their own conversations with you?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm actually just applied to do a PhD, which I think I got accepted on. It was like last week. But the whole PhD is looking at how mental health is portrayed in literature, and depending on how it's done, like whether the portrayal is accurate or not, if that can help us talk about it in real life. So I think anything that, like whether it's a TV show, a film, a book, something like that, that talks about mental health, does expand the conversation around that particular illness.
No, that sounds absolutely amazing. Would you like to do a short reading from the book so we can get a flavour of the Gracie Thrace character? Thank you.
Chapter 1, Tuesday, 10th of September 2047. Level 49, 478 XP. Time to sunset, 0 hours, 0 minutes. Scenario. The android clown from Anna McCann's 9th birthday party is behind you. Get home without turning around to look at it. If you lose, also lose if the clown touches you. Do you accept the scenario? I grimaced as the buzzing in my head started again. I checked the time on my hourglass, 1927. It was sunset. Do you accept the scenario? Can we just wait a few minutes until I finish work, I whispered. There were only a few customers left in the cafe, but I didn't want to draw attention to myself by letting them hear me. Do you accept the scenario, Gracie? 1 minute Eros. I could practically hear him tapping his foot inside my head. Already impatient, despite only having given me the scenario 30 seconds ago. I didn't want to make him angry again. I made my way behind the counter to where Miss Lation, my boss, was making coffee. I waited while she bashed the porterfilter into the machine with more force than necessary. Miss Lation? She glanced up at me, one eyebrow raised. What? I don't feel very well. I was wondering if I could go home early tonight. I only have 15 minutes left of my shift. She clicked her tongue against the roof of her mouth. If you have to, I'll be docking your wages though. Thank you. I smiled in relief. I grabbed my coat from under the counter, putting my arm in the wrong sleeve as I hurried out of the door. Do you accept the scenario, Gracie? Yes, I said. It wasn't like I had much choice. Sooner or later I would have to play. A yellow hologram popped up in front of me. A box with the familiar word scenario typed neatly inside it. Yes and no buttons hover just below. Please confirm your choice. I pressed the yes button and the hologram disappeared. A high-pitched screeching noise started some way behind me. I recognised it immediately. The sound of metal grating on artificial skin. I shut my eyes to stop myself from reliving Anna McCann's 9th birthday party, but it was already too late. I could hear the echoes of my friends' screams from all those years ago, the crunching of party hats and presents as we all ran, terrified of what could happen, of what did happen. I needed to see if it was real, to make sure the thing making the horrific sound was actually there. But how could I check if it was there without turning around? I lifted up my left wrist, my hourglass lit up. The skin it was surgically attached to illuminated a gentle emerald green. Front camera, I instructed.
Thank you, that sounds so interesting. I can't wait to read the book. These books were printed and got delivered yesterday, so they are hot off the press. You're 22 now, you started this at 19. You wrote this book in 23 days. You're a bit of a planning machine. One of the benefits of mental health and you're autistic is that you planned everything like a military operation. I understand obviously the editing etc. took longer, and this is book 1 of a series. So are you already onto book 2, or is it already done, or?
So I have a working synopsis of the 2nd and 3rd book, and on Wednesday we're having a phone call to discuss them, and then the 2nd, 3rd and 4th of September I'm going to be in London doing a little research trip to finalise locations and stuff, but I hope to have a first draft of the second one done by Christmas, hopefully. But I don't know when it'll be out.
Writers looking for locations in London, that's really exciting, isn't it, for your second novel? I just want to bring in your publisher, Claire, now. Claire, you started Salad Pages, which is a publishing house aimed at finding and publishing young writers under the age of 22 and younger. Tell us more about why you think this is important and what you're hoping to tap into.
Well, I've been in publishing for more than 10 years, and anyone who gets into publishing knows that you read a lot, love books, and I found that I was reading particularly books that really meant something to me some of the ones were by younger authors, but they were very underrepresented in the book publishing industry. It can be quite a cutthroat industry. It's quite difficult to get published if anyone's tried to get a book published via usual means, whether it be a literary agent or via big publishing houses. Many don't accept unsolicited commissions. So I wanted to set up Salad Pages to give opportunities for younger authors who will have so much talent and enthusiasm, like Hazel does, have great ideas, and give them an opportunity to get published and enjoy the process, learn about the process, the publishing industry, how all the steps involved. So
Such a great idea, and as you say, the publishing industry can be difficult to break into, and it's lovely that you've seen a gap in the market for that. So Salad Pages, based in, is it Liphook in Hampshire? Check them out, they've got some great new authors coming through. Ladies, thank you so much. Claire, thank you for that. Hazel, great to meet you, and we can't wait for more things. So remember, Nightmares Scenario, out October the 8th, October the 10th for Mental Health Awareness Day. So I've got to say, if anyone has got any questions for Hazel, we are going to be selling and signing a few books. You're welcome to ask